the match. It's the match live, and we will have co-commentary tonight because Chris McClaren will be joining us. He needs to get some streams to go as well. But until then, we haven't had any goals scored in the action when we get it for you in about 2 or 3 minutes time. But England going into this game, a win would see in Russia, and if they do that, then it's all about preparing then for that World Cup. Favourites to win. We'll try and get you the team lineups up quickly. It is a bit of a botch job, I know, with the action. So let's have a look. There has been a goal, I'm afraid, in the Northern Ireland game. I should tell you about Northern Ireland 0, Germany 1 down across at Windsor Park. So not a good start there. So let's have a look. Rashford starts. I can give you that team news straight away. So
Joe Hart starts in goal.
Joe Hart, in fact, starts in goal. That's the voice of Chris Whiteman, McClaren 94. Anyway, I'll give you the full lineups as well when we get a couple of minutes or two, because I have them here in front of me in just a second or two. We should be with you in a second or two. In fact, we're 6 minutes into the game and it's 0-0, so we will bring you the two lineups in just a second or two. But England are in white. They're going to attack. They're attacking the goal in the first half to our left, and the ball back to Joe Hart from Kyle Walker. So let me give you the two lineups very quickly, because obviously the game is in progress at the moment at Wembley. We've had the Scotland 0, Slovakia 0 is a current scoreline. Joe Hart in goal for England. Then it's Walker, Stones, Cahill and Bertrand, Henderson, Dyer, Loxley, Chamberlain, Sterling, Rashford and Kane up front. For Slovenia's team, let's be quick to give you that one as well. Hoblak, the goalkeeper, Struna, Mieva, Cesar, Jokic, Rotman, Kurin, Bezanak, Elijic, Verbic and Sparar. And the referee tonight, he comes from, is Felix Swayer. I don't know where he comes from. It doesn't say on the sheet, but never mind. But we are live now, and as soon as Chris gets his monitor going, he's got pictures. So Chris Whiteman is alongside me now. So we pick this now in the 8th minute. So I've brought you the two teams, and here come England now with Kane on the left-hand side. Kane has got Sterling on the overlap, should he decide to. And now I've sort of lost pictures now. In fact, there we are. Sterling has it now on the near side. Raheem Sterling now cuts in field, and he plays it in there. And in fact, he didn't come to anything. And then Joe Hart at the other end having to work hard. England were having one or two technical faults with this stream. It's not the easiest thing to get forward. Hopefully now I had a lot of tabs on the internet, which didn't help the flow of it. But there was no flag there, and Slovenia went.
What minute are you on?
We're in the 8th minute. Well, my stream has it on the 8th minute, Chris, at the moment. In fact, we're into the 9th minute, and Slovenia have a corner. Ilicic will take.
9 minutes and 20 seconds, just to clarify. That's where I am.
Well, at the moment, Chris, this is not working very well, because Ilicic is taking the corner and it's hooked away. Now then, I'm going to bring you in on the commentary, Chris. We'll muddle through this first half the best we can, and hopefully it'll all work out better for the second half. But Chris, as I say, you're alongside me, or you're with me tonight anyway. How do you think this game's going to go, and do you think England should win this game on paper? But as we've said before, in many times together when we've broadcast together, it's always been never anything's won on paper. As that corner comes in the 10th minute of the game, punched away by Hart, and then the ball is dished out to the right hand side. I will bring Chris in just a second. Here comes Slovenia. The number 7 turns and gets his shot on the field. Are two different things, but England should be expected to win this game, surely, looking at the two teams.
Yeah, England should win this game quite comfortably on paper, although the team selection by, that's a nasty challenge on Henderson.
Oh yes, just seeing it there on the monitor.
They should win. There are a few big names, obviously, for Slovenia. Obviously, a lot of people will know Oblak. Obviously, of Atletico Madrid is Slovenia, and they're just in a good position at the moment. But yeah, everyone will know Oblak. Funnily enough, they've also got quite a lot of experience in Boštjan Cesar, into 9th cap for Slovenia today. They've been difficult to deal with in the past for England, although the last out of the 5 times these two teams have met, there's only been 1 draw between them, and England have won the other 4. So England are a bit of a bogey team for Slovenia, as such. They haven't beaten them yet. But,
yes.
The team that's been put out by Gareth Southgate should do well enough. There's a few eyebrows raised about obviously the selection. Joe Hart, who did well to get to that. I'll give to in that one-on-one situation just there. Obviously, Oxlade-Chamberlain starting in a wide position is an interesting selection. But we'll see. If England win, obviously they qualify. The Scots will also be looking over in our direction because they need us to beat Slovenia to give them hope of qualifying. So it's certainly got a lot of good plots going on here. So it should keep things very interesting.
Yes, of course, and of course there's Northern Ireland in action against Germany, but they trail in that game in Belfast by 1-0. And here come England now on the break with Henderson on the halfway line, spreads it out towards Sterling on the near side, and then the ball is sort of nodded away, and Bertrand picks the loose ball up, finds KL. KL just spreads the play a little bit. It's been a slow start to the game, I think, Chris. It's not ebbing and flowing as much as we would have liked to have seen. But I mean, in early stages of matches, usually never seldom that spectacular. But England I think England have to be patient tonight, haven't they, Chris? They've got to play it sensibly, haven't they?
Yeah, it's going to be easy to become frustrated, especially as an England fan. We're all too familiar with England's style of play at the moment. It can be considered a bit boring, perhaps some people would say, and slow. A lot of passes going around at the back, but both teams need to feel each other out first. It's early doors. We're only 13 minutes in.
Indeed, and we are 13 minutes and 33 seconds in fact, and still. It's 0-0 between England and Slovenia from Wembley Stadium. And
interesting to see that Harry Kane's been given the captain's armband tonight as well.
Yes, there's been a lot of talk about the England captaincy in recent weeks. Who would get the armband? And it's Harry Kane. He's who has been picked on form, I should tell you, for his amazing. I mean, he had an amazing September with Spurs. I think Spurs and England. He scored. I think he's something like 12 goals in the whole month of September, which is something very good going, I have to say. And really has performed admirably very well. And England now just trying to build as far up as they can, and it's going to be a tough old ask really for Slovenia tonight. They don't harbour any great ambitions to qualify themselves now, to be perfectly honest. Remember, Germany are winning 1-0 in their match against Northern Ireland, and here's Sterling on the near side. Sterling, I need to check that one back. Oh, rather Rashford, sorry. Rashford in towards Dyer. Dyer now to Henderson, and Henderson out to the far side. Walker now back in field. And England again just prepared to keep possession. An early scoreline from Group C in the European Championships. Czech Republic winning against Azerbaijan 2-1. And Germany, of course, winning. San Marino 0, Norway 1. That's a game in Group C. Final score from Armenia. Armenia 1, Poland 6. And Romania and Kazakhstan is still ongoing. That's 0-0. And Montenegro and Denmark, that's also 0-0 as well. Quarter of an hour gone here at Wembley, still 0-0 between England and Slovenia. Scotland and Slovakia, another big game in Group F. That's ongoing up at Hampden Park, no goals there. Malta, Lithuania, another game in Group F, still goalless in that one too. But at the moment, still no goals between England and Slovenia. England, if they win, they go to Russia next year. But they won't go as big favourites, I can tell you that for free. They're not exactly world beaters at this moment in time. Scotland obviously chasing the playoff spot. And now Rashford has it around the byline. Rashford knocking it back. Dyer now might... What about the shot? He's about 35 yards from goal. But England just spreading the play here. Rashford takes possession again. He's got Bertrand on the overlap, but he decides to go back to Gary Cahill. Cahill playing it infield. And now England just prepared to wait for their moments here and pick their way through this defense. Football from England, Chris.
It is.
So 17 and a bit minutes gone. England take the corner short. Back to Rashford once again. First time cross in towards the penalty area, and the goalkeeper just about hangs on. No problem at all. And it wasn't the best cross that Rashford put in, but England starting to peck up a little bit now, Chris, with 17 and a half minutes gone.
Yeah, they're picking up the intensity. It wasn't the best cross on the way from Rashford, but then he's not a natural wide man in my eyes. But yeah, they've started reasonably well. They've put Slovenia under a decent amount of pressure. Just starting to test them now, 18 minutes in. So, but a couple of sloppy mistakes as well from England. They're not making it easy for themselves as usual. But slowly but surely, we're growing into the game, and if it continues, I would hope to see a goal say in the next 10-15 minutes.
Well, let's hope for the rest of the nation that is the case, because at the moment, as things stand, it's still 0-0. And this really is a big game for all concerned, really. Of course, Slovakia to keep their chances of a playoff berth very much alive there. To try and deny Scotland. Bannon and Fletcher starting for Scotland, incidentally, in that match tonight. And the ball in towards the 6-yard area, and in the end, a crossing from the left-hand side, and well, I think it was Sporar who came flying in there, and almost shot Wembley then.
They're lucky that wasn't a good connection, otherwise Joe Hart could have been in serious trouble.
It was a decent ball in, but yeah, a little concern there for the England defence, Chris, I have to say.
If they come up against a more reputable nation that has better finishes on their side, we would probably be 1-0 down by now.
Indeed. 19 minutes and 25 seconds of the first half gone. England 0, Slovenia 0. This is Rashford on the near side. Cuts inside. Rashford has to play the ball back. Sterling. He's in towards Dyer. Dyer now out to Bertrand of Southampton. Gets the ball into the penalty area. And it's nodded out again. And Sterling now will pick up the loose ball. Sterling will shoot right-footed, and he shoots over the crossbar and practically into a roll set at the stand for a goal kick to Slovenia.
Oh, dear me. I think if he had that chance back, I don't think he'd do much worse. And that Slovenia chance just coming up again. It's definitely...
it was Basiak, in fact, who got the effort in, not Sporar as I originally thought. So, it's still 0-0 here. Sterling winning the ball though in midway, and now a chance here for England to come forward here. A lovely skill there by Rashford, and Rashford was certainly fouled there, but the referee allowing it to go on. Sure, he's got a blow this time. Indeed he does. This time foul on Sterling. And a free kick.
Play by the ref.
Yes. Karim was the offender, by the way. And it's about 25 yards, maybe a little bit more from goal. Left of centre. And Oblak will have to be wary of this.
Kane. Although Rashford's got a good free kick on him.
Yes, he has.
You'd think captain would have priority at this point.
Indeed. And Harry Kane is behind this one. And we're coming up towards halfway now through the first half. And England and Slovenia.
Well, he's wearing white. He's at Tottenham's home ground.
Yes, he's Spurs, of course, playing at Wembley this season. But Kane will step up, right-footed. It's the wall, and I'm afraid he'll play it in again towards the penalty area, towards the far side. But the ball has got into touch, and after that build-up, Chris, it was a little bit of a waste.
Bit of a waste, yeah. That's the only way you can put it. Put him in a Spurs shirt, and he probably picks it in the top corner.
I should say we're not anti-English, by the way. We do want England to do well, folks. So don't get the impression that we're anti-English and we don't want England to fail. But we want to get to the World Cup. Of course we do. We're not brutes in that sort of sense, Chris and myself. We just worry sometimes. Having watched England for many years myself, well over 30 years, man and boy, it's very, very difficult to sort of keep the faith sometimes. But here come Slovenia down the left-hand side, or right-hand side with Spora, but he loses out this time, and Sterling wins possession, finds Dyer, and then the ball threaded back to Joe Hart. In fairness, this has not had much to do in the almost the 23rd minute of the game. And still it remains goalless here at Wembley as Chamberlain keeps it over on the far side, and England win themselves a throw on the far side of the field, and it's almost level back with the penalty area. And the ball back on halfway now. Still it remains goalless here at Wembley.
Germany are now 2-0 up.
Germany 2 up against Northern Ireland. This was always going to be a tough ask for the Irish, I suppose, because Germany are such a very good side. They're not world champions for nothing. I don't understand why they have to qualify, Germany. They are world champions, and I think by rights FIFA should allow them to enter in the next tournament. You cannot have a World Cup final without the actual holders. I find that very, very annoying in that sort of respect. I really do. I don't know what your take on that aspect of the actual holders having to qualify for the tournament is, but
I agree with you. Champions League, obviously the people who win it automatically qualify for the next tournament to come around next year. So why not the World Cup?
I fully agree. I fully wholeheartedly concur with you, and I just find it amazing, Chris, that FIFA could do such a thing. But anyway, back to the game. You're not missing anything as regards the England game so far. If you want to throw, considered Mevele and Rashford. Sure, he was obstructed there by Struner. He had to be. The referee, I'm sure, will be taking no nonsense here. It did look a clear obstruction.
He absolutely skinned him.
He did, and it looked a pretty nasty body check, I have to say, Chris. Just looking at the replay here.
Well, it's easy free kick for Rashford to win, really. He's very smart.
Yes, but a silly foul for...
The nutmeg is top class.
Yeah, indeed. We've got to praise the skill by Rashford, but also I think we need to criticise... we have to criticise Struner's challenge. It was an awful one, and on another day that could have been a yellow card. But what it does do is give England a free kick in a very promising position, 5 yards from the byline. It's almost like a corner kick in a way. Rashford's going to take it with his right foot from the left-hand side. In fact, he's gone short to Sterling. Sterling lays it back. Now then, and there's a missed kick there on the edge of the area. I think it might have been Dyer trying the shot there. Here's Rashford back inside to Sterling. England keeping possession well. In fact, it's Jordan Henderson, and Henderson shoots, and Oblak diving away to his left-hand side, palms it behind for a corner.
Top quality save that. There's a reason he's Atletico's #1 goalkeeper.
Yes, it was a very good save. Just watching it from the angle inside the goal. Yes, they managed to get a camera inside the goal, folks. Anyway, it's a corner here to England. 26 minutes just passed. And the referee's not happy about something here.
Plenty of pushing and shoving and shirt pulling going on in the box.
Yes, jostling. We don't want to see that in the game, quite honestly, folks. Remember, we've got more World Cup qualifying action to come Sunday evening. England are away in Lithuania, and then on Monday night, a big game between Wales and the Republic of Ireland from Cardiff to come. And then after that, it's back to Premier League action as the corner comes in, headed away by the Slovakians, or Slovenians I should say. Slovenia, I get the two mixed up. Now then, Slovenia on their break here, and over on the far side is their number 18, Rotman, playing that ball into the penalty area, or towards the edge of the area, but his cross was a poor one, and now it's with Raheem Sterling for England. Juggling the ball around a bit. I think it's a bit risky at 0-0 to be prancing around like that, and in the end he's given a free kick for a foul on Bezak.
Silly boy. No need to do that.
No, absolutely no need.
Get the ball up the pitch. Don't hang about.
He's been in okay form for Manchester City recently. There are messages coming in, but we're not reading them. The reason being, we are concentrating with the commentary. In fact, what we'll do at half-time is disable the chat, and because we'll take a 5-minute break, as we usually do on these broadcasts, and then what we'll do then is, well, I'll certainly take a 5-minute break for a cup of tea and what have you, and then me and Chris will be back with full second half coverage of this game. So far we're just coming up towards 27 and a bit minutes gone, and here come England again with Marcus Rashford. Lovely close control, and that looked a clear push, but to me the referee is allowing it to go on. Yeah, I thought Kane had pushed his man there, I have to say, but the referee didn't seem to notice that, and the ball headed away. And England keeping possession rather well here, but at the moment they're losing possession this time, and the ball's out on the left-hand side, and the number 14 Bezak was in a lot of space, but he miscontrolled it initially, but has kept possession in the end. And it's Struna now, just knocking it back to Malavia. And now Jokic keeps possession over on the far side this time for Slovenia. And as they come plodding down the left-hand side, they get a throw in level with the edge of the England penalty area. Verbic winning that throw, but leaving the throw. 29 and a bit minutes of the first half gone. A win for England would surely put them, if not absolute, 1 foot surely into Russia for 2018. Here's Harry Kane on halfway line, completely isolated against 4 Slovenia defenders who had enough know-how and the wherewithal to dispossess Harry Kane. It was a thankless task really for Harry, trying to keep possession when isolated against 4 Slovenian defenders. Half an hour exactly gone then at Wembley. World Cup qualifier, Group F we're watching here, and at the moment England making heavy weather of this. Not too much in the way of goal mouth activity. Final score in Azerbaijan, just to remind you, Czech Republic winning 2-1 against Kazakhstan. In Group C, Northern Ireland 0, Germany 2. So Germany taking a firm grip of things there at Windsor Park. In Group C, San Marino 0, Norway 3. We'll keep bringing you up these scores as we get it. Full time, Armenia 1, Poland 6. That was an earlier result from Group E. As we look at the ball possession, England 75% to Slovenia 25. Romania, Kazakhstan is 0-0 in Group E. And Denmark winning in Group E against Montenegro by a goal to 0. And in Group F, England and Scotland's group, England 0-0, and so too Scotland, Slovakia in the big game there. And in the other one, which probably matters not really, just really a battle between the two minnows, Malta leading 1-0 at the moment. So at the moment it's still 0-0 in the two big games that could decide not just the top spot, but certainly who could end up in the playoffs come the end.
Player down.
Yes, England have a player down just to the right of the penalty area, or the centre circle, and it's Kyle Walker who's down there. Might need a bit of treatment from the physio. We don't know what happened there. I certainly didn't see it. There is Trippier on the bench. I'll just run through the substitutes very quickly for England. Smalling, Butland the goalkeeper, Trippier, Maguire of Leicester, Michael Keane, Aaron Creswell, Jermaine Defoe, Jake Livermore, Daniel Sturridge. How he's in the squad we don't know. Harry Winks of Tottenham. He's had a decent start. Jesse Lingard and Jordan Pickford. Now there have been. Well, we just have a break in play, Chris. There has been rumours. There has been talk.
It looks like he's been stamped on.
Well, if that is the... Oh, well, yeah, you might be right, Chris. He has been stamped on there. Just seen it on the camera, and I tell you what, I would wager that FIFA will have to get involved in this. I have to be honest with you. I tell you what, FIFA need to look at that video evidence and really take the task. I don't know who it was that stamped on him. We'll try and get a closer... We'll try and view a closer camera angle of it and try and find out. But if there has been some shenanigans with stamping, then FIFA really need to take its respective action against the Slovenian individual concerned. A long ball forward over the top. Chance here now for the number 11. Ball back across the face, but there was just no one in a blue shirt waiting in the centre to get on the end of the cross, incidentally. It was Spora who was making the run. 33 minutes gone, England 0, Slovenia 0. And here come England now breaking with Eric Dyer. Dyer finding Bertrand of Southampton. Now Rashford of Manchester United. Back to Bertrand again. England just content to just be steady and try and play forward from the back. It's not helping things. They are the home team. On paper they have a better team, but... Again, as we've said before on LTF and commentaries, and
doesn't mean anything with England.
Yes, it doesn't mean anything. It won't stop in the games that we watch, even if it's a Premier League game, as Burnley proved against Everton last week. Here's Rashford now, in towards the edge of the penalty area. Sterling tries to turn and he goes down. I thought that was a bit unfortunate there, because I thought Sterling was looking for that slightly. I think Karim could be a little bit unfortunate there. Just looking at the replay, what do you think, Chris? Well, he's a bit late actually.
He positioned himself well enough so that I think he started falling down before he made contact, but there was enough contact there for the ref to give a free kick. So he's been very smart, Sterling there.
Yes, indeed. Free kick though to
Walker lining up a free kick.
Yes, Kyle Walker with the free kick. And he fancies this, I think.
Who knows what's going to happen with this, although Kane is standing to the right of it.
Yes, Kane is standing to the right.
No, that's Eric Dyer.
Eric Dyer, who scored a free kick in the European Championships 18 months ago in that 1-1 draw against Russia. So he has scored 3 kicks for England before, but it's his Tottenham colleague who's fancying this. There are 5 in the Slovenian wall, and it's Walker with... Oh dear. He got it over the wall all right, but he just didn't have the dip or the necessary accuracy, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Right-footed 3 kick, well wide.
Marcus Rashford should be next on the list for who wants to take free kicks, because those 2 were poor. We're still missing that set-piece taker. Ever since Gerrard retired, we haven't really had anyone who's particularly good at taking free kicks, although Eric Dyer, as you mentioned, did score in the Euros with a free kick, so perhaps maybe him or Rashford should be next on the list.
Well, arguably we haven't had a decent 3-kick taker since David Beckham, maybe all those years ago. Anyway, England trying to get on with the game very quickly with a long throw, with a quick throw. Still might drop here, and here goes Rashford again, or Sterling rather. Sterling gets the ball in and up back, well positioned, as any good international keeper should be. Claims to catch no problem. I was just before we noticed the Kyle Walker stamp, I was just going to say, I read an article on Facebook today whilst I was in Manchester that James Tarkowski and Ben Mee should have been called up to the England squad based on their form. How do you think? Do you think Southgate has missed a trick by not calling at least one of them up, or is he right to just keep them under wraps this time and maybe wait until the next squad?
I think it's a fair shout. You've got the two defenders who have made the most blocks and tackles this season, I think statistically. I think yeah, it's a fair shout. I think Tarkowski has played incredibly well, replaced Michael Keane very, very well, certainly in the first 7 games. And Ben Mee, well, he's sort of the unsung hero as such. He's sort of been backing up Michael Keane for the last 2 seasons. And now that he's not alongside Ben Mee, he hasn't looked quite as good at Everton, has he? So perhaps Ben Mee is not getting the credit he deserves. But certainly, they're certainly worth talking about in terms of the England squad.
Indeed. And meanwhile, whilst we were talking,
as a Burnley fan, I'm quite glad they're not involved because it's removes the chance of them getting injured.
Well, you make a very good comment. Meanwhile, there's a free kick being given against Kane, and he's been booked because he was already booked in an earlier match. So, in fact, he misses the next qualifier on
Scotland, isn't it?
I think it's against Scotland. Yes, on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. I think. I don't know when the games kick off, by the way, but I'll give you more notice before then. Meanwhile, still 0-0, and here's Sterling trying to cut in from the left-hand side, but a good challenge there by the Slovakian number 18, which is Rotman. And a free kick. Or is it a throw? I don't know. It's been spoken to there by the referee. I wasn't certain whether it was a free kick or not. Looks like it was a free kick, so it must have been a foul. So Bertrand to take the free kick on the left-hand side. About 15 yards inside the Slovenia half, but the ball predictably back in England's half at the moment with John Stones. And Stones to Dyer. Dyer trying to get England moving again. That was a poor ball. It was horrible. It was a horrible ball. It was Jordan Henderson who played the ball. It was just pathetic, Chris, wasn't it? It was just an awful ball. And it asked a lot of the lad trying to keep it in on the far side.
England are becoming impatient. We're 38 minutes in. Unfortunately, my prediction of them scoring in 15 minutes has gone. Slovenia have just sort of weathered that early storm of England possession and chances created, and now they're really giving England a good game. Although there may be a good opportunity about to come to fruition here.
Yes, they're on the break now with Henderson trying to play the ball in. Now then. Here's Harry Kane, out on the right-hand side. Kane's cross deflected away. And Slovenia can tidy up the mess, or they're making a little bit of a dog's dinner of it, but I think they just need to hoof the ball forward as far up the field as they can. I think that's got to be the aim thing now for these Slovenians, is just hoof it as far up the field as you can, because there's no point in trying to play clever football. And Sterling has it for England, but he's lost out. I have to say, Sterling has not had the best game so far. Here he is now on the ball. Lovely dummy. Now a chance here for Bertrand. But the throw has been conceded there by Struna. And it will be an England throw. 5 yards in from the dead ball line. In fact, it is a corner this time. Rashford winning the corner. And England have the chance here now. Can they make one of these set plays count? Rashford is taking the corner. Now then. Dyer is forward. KO is up the back post. Rashford may well send it in right-footed here. 40 minutes gone. England 0, Slovenia 0. How we'd love a goal now before half-time. In towards the penalty area. Nodded over. Or in fact, it was nodded behind. KO was right in the 6-yard area. And it must have come off a Slovenian player last, because it is another corner.
Very good defensive header.
And that was not an easy corner to deal with. And it was the number 11 Sporro who got the flick. But it's more pressure on the Slovenian defence. England are coming at them now. Here comes the corner in towards the 6-yard area. Header one, and it went in. But I think there was a bit of pushing going on inside the penalty area, and in fact the goal will not count. So England have conceded a free kick rather than scored. As we look at the replay.
I don't really know what happened there. I think there was.
I think Sterling was involved. Yeah, look at that.
Sterling was holding the number 13.
Yes, he was holding Jokic. And the referee, eagle-eyed as he was, spotted it, and the
He's had a very
goal.
good game, the referee, today, I've got to say. So far, he's been spotting stuff that I haven't seen immediately. Which is,
Yeah, the referee, incidentally, is Felix Sweyer. I don't know where he comes from. He's certainly got a cracking first name, and he's got cat-like reactions. Yes, that's one of my worst jokes of the night. One of my worst jokes.
that was incredibly funny.
I thought it was an old joke myself. You're not missing anything in the commentary so far. England 0, Slovenia 0. Myself and Chris in the commentary box tonight. But it's a two-man operation as opposed to the usual one-man. But at the moment, England really are struggling to break down this stubborn Slovenian defence. Oh, I have to say, I've defended the set pieces really well. And there's no foul there on halfway. And England get a throw about 15 yards inside the opposition half. And we're now coming into the closing stages of this first half. And I've sort of lost. I sort of have a fuzzy screen at the moment. It's not been a great first half in terms of communications here. And I have to say we're
not really missing much.
Well, we're not missing much, and I'll be glad of this 5-minute break, to be honest with you, so we could sort of fix the communication problems that we're getting from Wembley Stadium at the moment. And in fact, I think there's a goal kick being given. I can't honestly see the pictures. They are such awful pictures here.
Well, England, funnily enough, are passing around at the back. John Stones has the ball. God help us all.
Well, it has been it's been a bit too.
Lumping it to Rashford.
I have to say, Chris,
I'm assuming you can see.
I'm sort of getting my stream back in about 5 seconds from now, but but I'll be honest with you, Chris. It's been a poor England performance so far, and I wouldn't be too surprised if there were boos at the half-time interval, because England really, if they have any ambitions to try and qualify for this out of this group, they've got to be doing more. Yeah, they drew 0-0 in the European Championships. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Oh. Hold on, John Stones has just put in an absolute horrendous challenge.
Chris is just taking over commentary while we get the stream back, and then I will continue the commentary.
He's gone in late on the edge of the Slovenian box. He's marauded forward and then taken one touch too big, and the Slovenian defender, to be fair, has cleared it, but he's caught him. Stones has caught him sliding in just a little bit late. We're 44.5 minutes in. We've got 30 seconds left of regulation, and any added time, obviously, will be put on.
And I've now got some footage back. Now I can take over the commentary now for the last sort of 10 seconds or more of this first half, which is, to be quite honest, been a game that's been largely forgettable in spells. There have been one or two brighter moments, I would say, if you can call it brighter moments, but unfortunate really that it just hasn't fizzed as well as we would have expected, really. And here is Rashford in his trip there by the number 17, and that's got to be a free kick. And the yellow card has been given to Mavledja. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's very difficult to pronounce these names. At least when you've got England against Germany, at least you know who you're talking about. So we're now into stoppage time. We only got the 1 minute, incidentally, and we're halfway through that. So England here, I've got one final opportunity before the break to break through, and it's Marcus Rashford, to take the free kick.
He should be the next person in line.
Well, he's got an opportunity here. Rashford, well, he's gone for goal, and he's tried to catch the goalkeeper out in the near post, and then maybe it's just time to take the corner. Oblak having to scramble across. Rashford is going to take this corner, so I think the referee will add on time for this corner.
Remember, it's a minimum of added time.
Yes, indeed. Chris makes the point that it is a minimum, and we should stress this very, very much. As Rashford takes the corner in towards the near post, and it's on the roof of the net this time by Gary Cahill, and that should be that as far as the first half is concerned. And indeed the referee does blow for half time. Not the best first half, if I'm being honest. It's been an awful game, really. It's not really got going. We've had communication problems. Now the Slovakian manager is having words with one or two of the officials there. I don't know what he's complaining about. Maybe there's one or two decisions that may have gone against his side. I'm not sure, but half time really, England have not really done themselves justice so far at the break. If you were giving it a grade, I think E+ must do better would be my summing up of it. I don't know how you would see it, Chris.
Well, it's a case of Slovenia have actually done themselves, have played really well. We've got to stress that. The situation where Harry Kane has found himself on the wing, crossing the ball, I think Slovenia would be quite happy for him to do that for 90 minutes, because of him not being in the box is a big plus, gives him a chance of getting something. But it's been lacklustre from England, and Slovenia have had a few good chances themselves. Had they had better shooting boots on, they could have scored. But in terms of England, it's been sloppy, it's been a bit lacklustre, the decision making is questionable, and free kicks have been poor. Set pieces in particular have been poor, quite frankly, and it doesn't surprise me that we've gone through the order in terms of free kick takers, Kane, Walker for some reason, and Rashford. Be interesting to see what happens in the second half. Gareth Southgate's got a big half-time team talk to go through, because I don't think many people will be happy with. I mean, a lot of people said this would be an easy win, 3-0, but I think I'd certainly be happy with just a win, because I mentioned it earlier, we drew 0-0 with them in the Euros, so this is a good gauger, I suppose, in terms of the progress we may or may have not made. So far, it's looking like we haven't made any progress.
No, I have to say that I've just been watching. There's been with the stream we've got it on. They've cut to advertising at the moment, and Betfair, one of the bookmakers. If you are one of the viewers that likes a bet and likes a footer now and then, please gamble responsibly. By the way, 7-1 for Rashford to score the first goal now as things stand with Betfair. That's the latest offering they've got on the first goal scorer as regards Marcus Rashford is concerned. But please gamble responsibly. I don't want to encourage anybody going over the edge with gambling. Okay, let's just get that straight. But 7-1 at the moment for Marcus Rashford to get the first goal at Wembley this evening. At the moment, he's probably the more likely player. I mean, who's been England's standout player so far from your outset of it all, Chris? I mean, Rashford's for me. If I was
standout player,
I would say Rashford.
I would agree. He's been very no nonsense with how he's been playing, getting the crosses in early. Some of them have been blocked, obviously, but he's not hanging around when he's got that chance to cross the ball. He's been peppering the box with crosses. Slovenia have been fairly resolute with their defending, and obviously they've got a top-class goalkeeper in Oblak. But Rashford stands out to me. Nobody else has really done anything of note, if I'm honest. Joe Hart's made a bit of a bad decision to throw out at one point, because the ball ended up coming straight back. But he's been fairly good with his decision making in terms of coming off his line. Had a few good opportunities to showcase himself, so he's not doing too bad. Although a lot of people are still questioning why he's started in goal and not Jack Butland, but it's what's been chosen.
Indeed.
But yeah, I'd say Rashford has been the brightest spark on the pitch. Player who's disappointed me the most, I'd probably say Sterling.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one without a shadow of a doubt.
He's dallying on the ball. He's overcomplicating things. He's just not at it today. He needs a good second half, otherwise I can see him being subbed. Because we've got Lingard on the bench, who plays well for England, to be fair. But his club form maybe not deserves in the call-up, but right now we could use another spark, and perhaps he might be the man to come on and change things should Sterling not pick up his game. We don't really have any other wingers available on the bench, so it's literally Lingard, unless he wants to play Sturridge on one of the wings, which he's done before, but he's another case if he's a striker, he shouldn't be playing on the wing.
Well, indeed. And while we've got a half-time interval here, we're just going to break off from the England game at the moment, just to bring you up with one or two things that we're going to do. I don't know what your availability is, Chris, but we have on Sunday got live coverage of England versus Lithuania, away in Lithuania. I will find out the kick-off time, and then hopefully myself and Chris will be hopefully ready to start from the start, before the anthems preferably, on Sunday night, and then a big tasty one on Monday night. I think you're at badminton though on that night, so you probably just have me for this game. It's a big game between Wales and the Republic of Ireland. Remember the game we covered on the YouTube channel earlier during the qualifying campaign? It wasn't the best game. It was Republic had the better of it, and it was overshadowed by that horrid challenge by Aston Villa's Neil Taylor on Chambers Common. But that will be live on the YouTube channel as well on Monday night. So one or two things, and also on my channel, I should say, FIFA 18 Conduct there'll be a couple of new videos coming out after I finish here on this live stream tonight. I will put 2 new episodes of Career Mode out. Hope you're enjoying the series so far, and keep the series going. And as regards LTF, Chris will be back next week because I will be at work next week, so it'll be Chris's show next week. He'll do all the predictions. I will give him my predictions as well before I do go to work. So you'll still see my predictions, but I will not be around on screen to bring you that, because I will be doing my day job at the moment at the in Steeton. So there we are, just 1 or 2 pointers to point you in the direction on the YouTube channel. But we are back and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with Premier League commentaries as well. Burnley West Ham, one of the games we are looking at on a week on Saturday. Okay, let's see how things are. Scotland, I believe, are 0-0 at the moment with Slovakia. That is a big game as regards that. Northern Ireland, well, it was going to be a tough ask against Germany, wasn't it? 2-0 the Germans lead, and they're showing why they're world champions. Me and Chris spoke about it earlier in commentary. I don't think they have to qualify for the tournament. I just think the holders should be allowed to defend their trophy, and they should be given that honour. But what do we know, eh? Do FIFA know something we don't? Anyway, I don't know. But
I don't know.
You know, me and Chris.
The current standings, just talking about the group, obviously a draws all round at the moment isn't the worst case scenario for Scotland, because that doesn't change anything, and what it does mean is that it would probably favour them slightly, because it then means that when they play Slovenia, if they beat them, they would go above them, and then they would be hoping that England, of course, then beat Slovakia, which would also put Scotland above. But even if England were to draw that as well, and Scotland were to win, that would put Scotland above as well. So at the moment, the results are actually slightly favouring Scotland. It obviously implying that Scotland have everything in their hands at the moment. So, in terms of the British interest in this group, the results actually, despite them being incredibly boring, it's actually quite beneficial to both. So.
Indeed, but I tell you what, if they were to win tonight, it would increase their chances of qualifying for their first major tournament. Believe it or not, Scotland have not been to a major tournament since 1998. But every time they got to a major tournament, they failed to get past the first phase in every single World Cup or European Championships they've been at. But at the moment, they'd be happy just to be in a finals at the moment, considering they haven't been in one for almost 20 years. So I think it's a long time.
Well, England today are facing Slovenia. I'll throw a few stats at you for Slovenia.
Yes.
They're actually looking to qualify for their 3rd ever World Cup. Obviously, they've only been an independent. They've only had their own national team since '92. Obviously, since the break of the
former Yugoslavia.
Yes. So they've only had their own national team. So since 1992, they've only appeared in 2 World Cups. First one being in the very first World Cup, which I witnessed, which was 2002. Hope that doesn't make you feel old, John. And obviously the other one being, I say obviously, they missed the 2006 World Cup and they qualified for the one in South Africa in 2010. They're the only 2 World Cups they've been to. And they have appeared in the Euros Their first appearance in the Euros was 2000, but they haven't gone beyond the group stages. So we're facing a nation here which, as I say, we've qualified for more or less every other World Cup, barring obviously '94.
And if you go back further, 74 and 78, of course.
Yes.
For any older listeners out there, anyway, yeah, because we got, we probably have a few older listeners that might remember those days when Don Revie was manager, and he totally messed up our qualification bid by swanning off to the United Arab Emirates for a few bob when he knew he couldn't qualify the team to the Argentinian World Cup in '78. Back then, though, there was quite a few teams. In '74 and '78, there were only 16 teams. Now it's 32. There's also there have been talk that FIFA do want to extend the World Cup finals. I don't know how they're going to do it. I think they're trying to create it up to 48 teams or something. I read one a few months ago. Do you think it should stay at 32 teams, the World Cup finals?
Sure. I don't think it should go any bigger than what it currently is, because if they were to expand it, it would affect the league schedules for a lot of countries. It would probably put a lot of players under even more stress, less time to recover, more injuries would probably occur. Logistically, it would be a nightmare.
It would, but the other thing that FIFA would probably try and counter argue, really, sponsorship, TV money. Yeah. They're thinking about cash. They're thinking about the money rather than the actual thing.
Of course, but the thing with we had the thing with the Euros. We've seen what happens when you expand the tournament. You get a lot of teams that play for draws in the group stage in particular. Because Portugal, the winners, didn't win a group game.
Yeah, I thought that system. I have to say that system was flawed a little bit, because I tell you what, in previous European Championships, they wouldn't have qualified from the first phase. And I think that's the point you make. Yeah, because.
Portugal will say it's good karma for what happened to them in 2004, where Greece somehow managed to hit them on their own turf as well, which was rather embarrassing. But expanding the World Cup would end up having the same sort of thing that happened with the Euros. The honour of actually going to a World Cup wouldn't quite be as a big an honour as it would be previous years. Obviously, more opportunity, more chance of you going. But then it would just lead to more drab matches. As I say, more matches for more players, which would mean that, this summer you'd have a lot of players. We've seen, for example, with Alexis Sanchez for Arsenal this year, it took a long time for him to recover from his international exploits with Chile. They had was it the Confederations Cup?
No, yes, it was the Confederations Cup. Yes, it was.
It was one of those two. And yes, you're looking at expanding the World Cup, you'll end up with the same scenario as that. The World Cup is going to end or start earlier, either way, so somebody's going to have to shift. So probably the leagues, I would imagine, would shift, because FIFA doesn't care for the domestic leagues. They'll put the World Cup here, and then you've just got to work around it. So then you end up having a season that starts earlier, ends later, and then for it to be on time next season, it will have to start earlier. And you'll just end up with really, really tired players. So I think expanding the World Cup is, it shouldn't go any further than what it currently is, quite frankly. It's the World Cup, it's a big honour to play in it. Yes, the Euros expanding, I can kind of agree with, but for the World Cup, that is the biggest tournament on the planet, internationally wise. It should be a big honour for you to play in that, and expanding it, I think, would take the edge off it.
I agree, and it's not just that, you'd have it for 6 straight weeks, and I don't want to see that happen, because it would be all wrong for all sorts of reasons. I think we should keep it at, I think the tournament as it is now, in terms of actual teams, 32 teams, I think is just about right. But I just cannot believe that FIFA would want to expand the tournament. It's bad enough them having the World Cup in Qatar around Christmas, because that takes the edge off things. But to extend it to 48 teams would be suicidal. Not just for the players, but for the officials, referees, commentators. They all want a break as well. And it just doesn't seem fair to me. in that case. Anyway, back with the game, because England are just in the tunnel now, ready to come out here at Wembley, and they really need to put their ideas up, I think, in the second half, because that first half performance, simply put, have not got it. Let's just recap the England team for you, in case you missed it. Joe Hart's in goal, and then it's Carl Walker, John Stones, who's been booked, Gary Cahill and Ryan Bertrand at the back four. Then you've got Henderson, Dyer, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Rashford, and Kane further forward. On the substitutes bench, you've got Smalling, Butland, Trippier, Maguire, Keane, Creswell, Defoe, Livermore, Sturridge, Winks, Lingard and Pickford. For Slovenia, Oblak is the goalkeeper, Struna, Miavia, Cesar and Jokic, Bezic, Karin, Rotman and Verbic, Eligic and Sporar. On the bench for them, Skubic, Velia, Shurok, Kurtic, Matabs, Berza, Belek, Dayama, Kovarek, Repas, Boa and Vertris. I think that's how you pronounce it all. Referee, just to remind you, Felix Weah. So, and of course, free can
glad
play.
you were doing the pronunciations for those, John.
Yeah, well, I am the chief commentator and for the YouTube channel, and away we go. England attacking the goal to our right, but it's Verbic on the break here down the left-hand side for Slovenia. No changes, incidentally, from either side, and then a poor ball really by the number 6 Karin has put the ball out of play, and it will be a throw to England, 5 yards from their own dead ball line. Now, Chris, in your own mind and in your own heart of hearts, what do you think England really do need to improve to try and get over the line and get the 3 points necessary to put them practically into the next year's World Cup?
They've just got to be sharper. You know, they weren't really on it in the first half. I don't think any of them have rose to the occasion, bar Rashford. But they've just got to get at it. Keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate things. You know, get the ball in the box as soon as you get the opportunity. Because when you've got a striker in the red hot form of Harry Kane, just get it in the box and he'll get on the end of it. And to me, you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Sterling and Rashford, they are the main guys to get that supply in, because they're pacey, they can cross the ball, but they've just got to keep it simple. It's the overcomplicating things which is why they're messing up. And as for the midfielders, they just need to get it out on the wings, because Slovenia can't deal with the pace. You know, we've got to make use of the pace that we've got in Ox, Sterling and Rashford, because Slovenia can't handle them. And it's down to the centre midfielders of Henderson and Dyer to get it out to them.
Indeed, and after the match, just to remind you, we'll try and get some post-match reaction from Gareth Southgate and one or two of the England protagonists as well, England players as well, and obviously we'll have our own post-mortem before we leave you at about 10:15 this evening here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. The Match Live, or the international match as it should be known as, but the title says The Match. And at the moment this match is producing no goals and not very much entertainment so far, although we have been playing just 3 minutes of the second half. 2 minutes of the second half. We're into the 3rd minute now of the second half, and it's England 0, Slovenia 0. England really need to get the 3 points necessary, and at the moment they're just making a bit of a dog's dinner of things here at the moment. Slovenia now on the break on the far side. And a cross coming in towards the back post, and a header won, and Hart just about gets there. Verbic's header at the bar post, and in the end Joe Hart juggled it a bit, but under no great pressure, and no damage was done there to the England goal. But a warning shot there for England, Chris, a warning shot.
Yeah, it shows that they've got to be sharp at the back. They got a bit sloppy, and Joe Hart, well, used to warm up his gloves, clearly. He didn't quite have the traction on the ball there that he wanted. 2 players down now.
Yes, 2 players have gone down. But well, we're just looking at the replay, and it was a good cross here from the far side, and really Verbic got into a very good position, nodding the ball back. There was also Sporar in the middle. I think he was trying to aim it back. No wonder there might have been a little suspicion of handball there, Chris, because it looked as if it come off a defender. I don't know who it was. It might have been Carl Walker, I think.
For it.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I don't think it's really down to the referee's jurisdiction as to whether he thinks it's deliberate or not, or whether he even saw it. So,
yeah, it depends where about on the pitch he was positioned as well, Chris. I think we've got to take that into account. But
he's been very good today, the referee. So
no, well,
I
I tend to agree. I think the referees refereed it very sensibly, no nonsense, which you'd like to see more of the Premier League referees do, but they're under so much pressure and scrutiny in the Premier League. It's unbelievable, and they get some very bad decisions. They get some very simple decisions wrong. I mean, I commentated on the Burnley Leeds match, and Jonathan Bond, the referee, gave Leeds a penalty when it was quite obvious to me he was trying to even up the score, having given Burnley a penalty in about 2 minutes previous. It's that sort of refereeing that really does hurt me as a football supporter. Here's Rashford on the far side for England, in the side of the penalty area, but Slovenia have again the wherewithal to get the ball out, and it's a throw around 25 minutes.
That's what I was talking about. You've got to abuse that pace. They can't handle it.
Yes, a throw in just midway inside the Slovenian half for England, and they take the throw, and now Walker takes it inside the centre circle, 5-10 yards inside the Slovenian half. Walker then pirouettes and plays it infield to Sterling. Sterling towards Rashford, trying to get Kane on his way, but the ball was just hit a little bit too strong there by Rashford, and it was an easy one for Oblak to take possession of, and Slovenia will breathe very much easily and exhale a bit more air as Gareth Southgate, with a concerned look I would fancy on his face right now. 5 minutes just over gone in the second half. England 0, Slovenia 0. Free kick to England, fouled by the number 16 on the it's Rotman, sorry, number 18, I apologise, and he becomes the third Slovenian in the book to join Mevela and Kane in the book, and it was an awful hack at Raheem Sterling, I've got to say, Chris. Poor challenge.
Like I said, they can't deal with the pace. This is what I want to see. It's what Gareth Southgate should have been saying at half time, which is like, use that pace, they can't handle it. So far, the start of the second half, not forgetting Ryan Bertrand and Kyle Walker, I failed to mention them, they're not slouches either. If England make use of it, they're going to create chances and cause Slovenia all sorts of problems.
Yes, but they've got to play with due care and attention, England. They can't afford to get caught out on the counter-attack. No, Sterling hasn't played with due care and attention. He's going away on the halfway line, and it's a chance here, and he's very lucky, I have to say, Sterling. That has gone for a throw, because he dawdled and dawdled on the ball, and that was not the due care and attention we expected there. And Gareth Southgate must be wondering, what on earth do we have to do to break this Slovenian defence down, because they have been stubborn as heck, and have really come here and they've really parked the bus. And to be fair to them, Chris, they've tried to attack England as well, and that's refreshing to see from an away side at Wembley sometimes.
Well, yeah, they're pressing from the front, they're pressing the play, they're not giving England a chance to play it around at the back. They're making England rush everything that they do, which is going to cause mistakes, and so far it's working.
It is working, and it's working an absolute treat, and Dermot coach must be absolutely thrilled to bits, although he was complaining about some refereeing.
He was giving the fourth official an earful, wasn't he?
Yes, I think the fourth official got the bird from him a little bit there, and as everyone all agrees, the fourth official's job is a thankless task, and I've got to say that with all due respect to them, it's very difficult even as a fourth official to try and keep order, especially when you're a manager. You've got two opposition managers, and Oblak there completely taking the law into his own hands and skillfully going past Rashford as if he wasn't existing. Now that's what I call a defining sweeper keeper if ever I saw one. England 0, Slovenia 0. Coming up towards 53 minutes on the clock, and we need a goal in this game just for the game's benefit, not because of England, but you know,
I'll just say something about Oblak. I can imagine the confidence that he gives his defenders when you've got a goalkeeper of that quality in between the sticks. I mean, we used to have that with Joe Hart. Obviously, confidence in him is a bit on the low side at the moment, and I think that shows in the way that the defenders play. But when Oblak is that good, you know, just you expect him to punt it upfield, and all he does is just stop it dead and watches the striker hops in the air and goes past him. It takes a lot of bottle to do that as well. You mess it up and it's a goal, but Oblak's definitely he's top 5 keeper in the world in my eyes. It might sound a little bit deluded to some people, but he's a very, very good goalkeeper.
Well, he's got to be good to play for one of the big clubs in Spain. I think top 5 or 6. I don't think you're far wrong with that. To be fair, I don't think you're deluded in that assessment at all. I think he's a top goalkeeper. He's proved it tonight at Wembley. He made a couple of good quality saves, and he's performed very admirably in that Slovenian goal. And he has to be a good goalkeeper if Atletico Madrid snap him up. So he must have something about him that Simeone likes. At the moment, though, for his international side are holding England, and holding them pretty well, I have to say. England just playing the ball around rather not slapdash, but very lackadaisical at the moment. Very slow, very casual, and just not going anywhere fast. They did win a throw, however, about 20 yards inside their own half. And Kyle Walker's going to take it. In fact, I think there's going to be a substitution. I think Sporar is going off for Slovenia, and he's trotting very slowly to the dugouts over on the far side. And number 10, Berza, will take his place. So Slovenia using their first ace up their sleeve, or their joker in the pack, as they used to say on It's a Knockout. If you don't know what that programme is, folks, ask your parents.
But he's had a tough job today, Sporar. Being the lone striker, been found very isolated in a lot of scenarios. So change probably definitely needed for Slovenia, because he was ultimately not doing much.
Yes, yeah. Keith Chegwin used to do It's a Knockout, didn't he? And he wasn't half bad on that. But at the moment, back to the game. We've had over 10 and a half minutes of the second half gone, and England still drawing 0-0, being held here. Here's a chance here now as Henderson chips that ball in towards the penalty area, and the ball out of play over on the far side. Cahill had gone forward, and it's a goal kick to Slovenia.
Still very sloppy from England. They're just the pass backwards that was I think what was it? Was it Cahill who mopped up and then went forward back from Sterling? I think it was. Or it might have been Oxlade-Chamberlain actually. I tell a lie. The pass backwards didn't quite have the weight on it. Cahill had to go forward to go and get it, which ultimately I think is what led to him ending up in the box, because he just carried on running forward.
Yes, indeed. We'll let you know how Scotland and Northern Ireland are doing in just a moment or two, as soon as we get a break in play, because they're in action. Wales and the Republic play tomorrow night, and they also play again on Monday. England and Scotland and Northern Ireland also play their particular games on Sunday. Bertrand concedes a throw. 0-0 is the score. Southgate looking on rather anxiously. One gets the feeling.
Like I said, this is a good result for Scotland if all the scores stay the same.
Yes, it would be a great result for Scotland as well. It would be even better if they could get themselves a goal in that game at the moment. They're still drawing 0-0 up at Hampden Park currently. We will let you know what's happening here. There's a break in play here. There's a bit of afters going on between Raheem Sterling and the 23 Struna.
There's been a sending off in the Scotland-Slovakia game. Mack, I think, for Slovakia has been sent off.
Yeah, we're just having a look at Bobby Charlton there in the royal box there. But yes, Mack has been, just to confirm, Mack has been sent off for Slovakia. So that is a big.
He was sent off in the 23rd minute, so Scotland have had a numerical advantage.
Yes, they've had a numerical advantage. We didn't pick that up, but he got 2 yellow cards in that game. They've played 56 minutes up at Hampden. It's still no goals there. So if you want to watch that, you can do. But here's a chance now for Verbic, and now the ball back from the left-hand side, knocked away. And the ball will run dead into touch, and England will have a goal kick. Northern Ireland, let's have a look how they're getting on. We're just going to check the scores from elsewhere as well. So England 0, Slovenia 0. Northern Ireland 0, Germany 2. Rudy and Wagner have scored both goals for Germany in that particular game. In fact, De Bruyne has made 2 superb saves, incidentally.
Malta and Lithuania are now 1-1.
Yeah, but that's again. To be fair, that's again need not matter really in terms of the group and the destination, because they're both heading out at this stage anyway. Meanwhile, Slovenia have won the corner. And if they score here, Wembley will be in meltdown if this goes in, because Berza, the substitute, is going to take it with his left foot. Plenty forward in green. Berza with the corner in towards the 6-yard area. England just about had away with all to get it away. Berza will try again on the left-hand side. Berza again, the deep cross. Joe Hart getting 2 miles whether to stay or go. In the end, he didn't either, but in the end, the cross was so whipped, it was never going to reach anybody in the end, and it's out for a throw on the far side. But England just teetering.
Slovenia, they've certainly had the better of the game in the last 5 minutes. They're causing them problems.
Indeed they are, and it's a bit of a worry if you're an Englishman now, and you're listening or looking at it on the television. It's been an awful game if you're an Englishman, and really
substitute getting ready on the sidelines for England.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a viewer watching it on ITV, I mean, ITV must be wondering why did we bother buying the rights for this, as this ball comes in towards and Kane, I think on the far side, the ball came to him.
Stop his knee.
Well, the ball deflected. I think it took a couple of ricochets. The cross coming in from the far near side. I think it comes off a defender. I think it might have been Struna. It comes off here. It's a good cross here by Henderson, and it just deflects off the defender. And Kane, it comes to him rather fast. It came off Mavella, and it was a difficult one. And he was a bit unlucky, Harry Kane, because if he'd have controlled that perfectly, then Oblak would have been rather worried, shall we say, but it was a bit unfortunate there for England. As we see now, the Verbic breaking away now, and now he tries to play in Ilicic, and in the end Stones gets it away for England.
Jesse Lingard getting ready on the sideline, on number 22, so probably, I would imagine, Sterling. Or maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain, one of those two.
Well, I've got to say, Sterling has been a bit more lively than Oxlade-Chamberlain so far. But Jesse Lingard from Manchester United about to come on, as Chris makes the point. But we're still got to see out the Slovenian attack first, as this ball comes in towards the penalty area and nodded out by John Stones. It will be a Slovenian corner, so maybe that England change can be made now. The referee making sure that this does take place.
Not sure I'd make the change on a defensive corner. You don't want to disorganise your defence at a crucial moment.
No, but I wager Oxlade-Chamberlain might be the man coming off. Chris, I have to say, if I was to put money on it, I would say Oxlade-Chamberlain by a long chalk.
Well, he hasn't really done anything, has he? Sterling's at least done something that we can talk about.
The ball, yes, the corner comes in from the right-hand side. It's hooked away by England very easily. No foul on the Slovenian defender, and here goes Sterling, and here's a chance now for Rashford inside the penalty area. He chips the goalkeeper, and it's kicked off the line by Rotman, and England have wasted their best opportunity.
No need to chip him there, just lace it.
Well, it was a great opportunity. It was a lovely counter-attack. There may have been an hint of a foul on halfway on one of the Slovenians, but referee allowed it to go on, and England just didn't take advantage when it was needed, really. And in the end,
3-on-1. How can you not score from that?
Well, only Marcus Rashford will know why he didn't score. He didn't put enough purchase on it. He tried to be very clever, and I think that was going wide anyway, looking at it from behind there. It was, to be honest with you, the defender isn't to know it.
Credit to him to be confident enough to try and do that.
Oh yeah, in fairness to the lad, Jesse Lingard has replaced Oxlade-Chamberlain as we suspected he would. So England have made their first change. But it was a poor finish from Rashford's high standards. But as we said, the defender wasn't to know that, but it was a decent clearance, and he did the first thing he did. That was safety first. You can't accuse the Slovenians of being accuse the Slovenians of trying to play la-di-da football like the English have done, unfortunately. Some of them think they're so highly paid, they think they're above everyone else. Here's Raheem Sterling. Again, losing possession. Again, losing possession when at the crucial moment. It's the final third, Chris, that's letting England down, I think.
And then he's giving away a foul as well. I mean, I've sounded a bit like an annoyed football fan, but Sterling today, he's dallied too much, and then when he's lost the ball, he's fouled. I mean, he's just... See, to be honest, as much as Oxlade-Chamberlain wasn't doing anything, he wasn't giving away silly free kicks and wasting possession. Sterling's doing that, so... But then he didn't really have any other wingers to put on.
Indeed not. I just feel that... I just think England in the final third have just not been good enough. They're just...
Right now, the 0-0 is totally deserved for both sides. Both sides haven't offered anything decent attacking plays.
I think Slovenia have been better value for the point than England have, to be fair. Here's Rashford though, into the 6-yard box. Surely this time Sterling shoots. Oh, and he's kicked away off the line almost by the captain of Slovenia. Raheem Sterling thought he put England in front. He hit the left-footed shot towards the goal. We'll have to bring Chris in a second because England have taken the corner. In fact, they've taken it far too quickly. And
come on, ref.
Well, let's have a look at it now. We've got the replay, Chris. Good move this from England. Best we've seen.
Yes, it's the best that they've done all game. But all 99 caps at full value here from the skipper. Well, I tell you what, I would have blown my knee out trying to do that, what he just did. He's somehow managed to, from the ground, pivot his knee and stick out a long foot to stop it going in the bottom right-hand corner. That's an incredible block from the skipper there.
Yes, Cesar, and he did really well. He did absolutely superbly. That was really brave.
He has nearly 100 caps.
Yes, he almost had another. So he's got vast experience at international level, and he showed every inch of that experience, clearing that effort by Sterling off the line. Great defending and brave defending too, considering he had to sort of squat down to get a foot on the ball. But still 0-0. England are pressing now. They're starting to make things happen a bit, but still can't break this defence down. Superbly marshalled by their captain Cesar. And still England have it with Jesse Lingard, the substitute, who's just come on literally about 5 minutes ago. Plays it towards Dyer. Dyer now to Harry Kane, who's just dropped back, the England captain. Kane midway inside the half finds Walker. Walker on the right hand side. Infield to Sterling. Sterling to Kane. Kane might get into the shooting opportunity. He tries to curl it left footed, and he curls it into row Z of the stand, and it's a goal kick to Slovenia. And that has been frustrating. It's been a frustrating night for everybody, but especially Harry Kane.
Well, he hasn't really had any service to speak of, has he? And the only chance that dropped to him bounced off his knee, so he hasn't really had the opportunities that he obviously has scored so many goals off this season. Obviously, perhaps missing Dele Alli could be a factor, because I reckon Ali would probably be playing instead of Sterling in his position. Sterling definitely doesn't quite have the same creativity as Ali does, although he's slightly more level-headed in terms of his temper.
Yes, it has been a very frustrating night, and it has been a really... Well, I can't think of the words to describe England's performance at the moment that is plausible on this.
Right now.
Yes, they've got some defending to do, but obviously the only words I can think of are words that I cannot repeat on air at about 9:10 on a Thursday night right now. Maybe they're better off said off air. Here's Rashford now for England, down the left-hand side infield to Sterling. Sterling tries to get the shot in again. Blocks come in, and then the shot. Oh, I think it clipped the post from Harry Kane. It was just to the left of the penalty spot when he struck it, and he struck it. I think he struck the post here. Good work from Rashford. Played it into Sterling. Sterling's effort was again bravely blocked, and he came to Kane. In fact, he just went wide of the post. But another good chance for England here, and Marcus Rashford starting to make things happen for England down the left-hand side.
Yeah, well, Rashford keeping it simple. Got it in the box when he got the first opportunity. Sterling with the first time shot. Cesar again has been a titan today, leading from the back. And yeah, it's just the frustration starting to build, I think. Although they are knocking on the door now, they're actually creating chances, England. So it's promising. They've got 22 minutes to create something that will make the crowd cheer and maybe improve spirits around the England camp.
Yes, we're just halfway through the second half. England 0, Slovenia 0 on the JB Claret YouTube channel with John Stuttard and Chris Whiteman as your commentary team for the second half. We'll be with you until 10:15 tonight. Try and get some reaction from Gareth South until at least 10 o'clock tonight. Get some reaction from Gareth Southgate after the game. Here's Sterling. Burnley went into the penalty area. It goes down. He wants a free kick, but I think the referee wasn't going to fall for that trick. And he reckons, he's in the opinion, the referee, that Sterling tried to buy a penalty off him, or a free kick probably looked a more likely suggestion.
Well, if it's not a penalty, it's a booking for diving. Can't have. I hate it when referees do this middle thing of no, get up. That's implying that it's not a foul. So surely, make your minds up, ref. That would be the only thing that I can criticise about this ref so far.
Yes,
Sterling should have stayed on his feet.
Yeah. I do feel sorry for the referee, because at the end of the day, I just think he's, with all due respect to the referee, I do think he's trying to let the game flow. And to be quite fair, it's been such a game. How can I describe the game? Well, to be honest with you, it's flowed like glue for 70 minutes, quite honestly. It has picked up in the last 10 minutes, admitted.
The best word I can think of.
What's that?
Lethargic.
Lethargic. Well, I'm just looking at a replay of that.
That's a dive.
Well, I'm inclined to agree. Sterling should be. I'll tell you what, if he was playing for Sean Dyche would not have any of that, because he.
Careful, there's a lot of Sean Dyche for England.
Well, if he was playing for Burnley, he wouldn't be encouraged to do that anyway. England have won a free kick and have taken it quickly, and that's the ball in towards Sterling. Can he keep it in by the byline? The answer is no. It's gone behind for a Slovenian goal kick. 20 minutes, in fact 19 minutes, to go, and well, it's been feeble.
Well, let's have a look at this, shall we? So he gets past his man, skips past Cesar. He doesn't really get touched by Cesar, to be honest.
No, he goes down. No, he goes down as if he's been shot 6 times by Lee Harvey Oswald. I really do. But there you go. It's just one of those. As Slovenia make a change, Breznak is coming off. And on in his place is number 19, Rapas. So Rapas will get a 18-minute cameo.
Going back to the Sterling situation, he could have quite easily hurdled the leg. Yes, he may not have got to the ball, but he certainly would have pressured the Slovenian defenders to do something, and he might have won a corner or a throw. So, should have stayed on his feet.
Well, here's Rashford on the far side, ball in towards Kane, but it's sucked away again by the defender, and it's a corner. Nevier this time getting his body on the line.
But again, Rashford, as soon as he's had the opportunity in the box, he's got the right mindset. Get it in the box. Get it in the box.
Well, he's got a corner to take now. And we've had 72 minutes, and he swings it in towards the 6-yard box, and it wasn't the best corner Rashford's put in, but he's been England's shining light in the second half, in all fairness. Now there's a Slovakian player down in a heap. I can't say who it is. It's right on the edge of the D. There's a little bit of a free-for-all going on. John Stones is involved, and John Stones would do well just to get himself away from all this. Harry Kane doing the captain's role here. I don't know who it is that's gone down, but it's the captain. It's Cesar who's gone down. Now the referee John Stones has got to stop staying anymore, because he's going to talk himself into being booked. Well, I'm sure Stones is involved. I didn't see the incident myself, but now I'd have to have a look at a replay, Chris, to work this one out. Let's have a look at the game. From this corner, the goalkeeper takes the ball, no problem, and then just watch that. Stones has struck out, I think. I think he's struck.
He's been hit by 2 players. And unfortunately, Cesar's taken the brunt of John Stones' frustration. So,
well, if the referee had seen that, I think Stones would have been shown a straight red card.
He's already in the book. So if the ref had seen it, it would have been off.
Yeah, well, I think he would have shown a straight red rather than a second yellow card, because under FIFA laws and regulations, that to me, any punch or an elbow intentionally towards an opponent that is thrown towards the opponent, and that's intentional, that is a straight red card. And John Stones can count himself a very, very fortunate young man that he's not been shown the red card there, because. And again, FIFA will have to have a look at video evidence, and they talk about banning players and things like that. Here comes Slovenia at the other end now, and well, what an opportunity that was for Ilicic. He tried to get forward, and he made a daring run. I think he's been scrambled behind for a corner, and he broke the offside trap superbly. First touch was a little heavy, and it allows Stones, in fact, to get back and. In fact, Cahill.
Well, no, it was Cahill. It was Cahill. Stones was standing around with his arm in the air.
Indeed, he was. And here's Burzow, number 10, right by the corner quadrant. My good self has been rescued by my co-commentator tonight, Chris Whiteman, otherwise known as McClaren94. Check out his channel as well for his content, including the Kawani Legends Trophy, which we'll be uploading daily hopefully in the next few weeks. And that is a competition that once we start getting the uploads sorted, you will find out on his channel just how hot that tournament really does get, so prepare for that one. Just to remind you that England are in action on the YouTube channel again, on my YouTube channel on Sunday against Slovenia, and then we've got the big game in Wales and Northern Republic of Ireland's group as they face off against each other in Cardiff. No Gareth Bale significantly, which is good news for Roy Keane and Martin O'Neill. So join us on Monday night if you can for that one. Meanwhile, here at Wembley, in what's been a drab 75 minutes, no less, nearly shining like Marcus Rashford, England have offered nothing much else. Here he is now on the ball, Rashford, on the left-hand side. Cutting field, but he can't thread the ball. And I think the England players are not offering that much support, really. It's been a really drab game. I'm interested to see, Chris, what Gareth Southgate will make of it. But here comes Slovenia down the other end here. And they'll be thinking... Yes, and a chance here for Verbic on the left-hand side. And he bundles down Kyle Walker, who's down in a bit of a heat there. But I think they're both...
that's a lovely collision with the concrete.
I think they're both going to be okay. I think they're both hard as nails sort of players. But I would be interested to see, Chris, whether what Gareth Southgate says, if it does end 0-0, or they somehow contrive to lose this game, because he cannot be pleased
I'd be disappointed
with the football that's been served up tonight from England. He cannot be pleased. I certainly wouldn't.
No, I'm sure a lot of England fans won't be happy with what they've seen tonight, because we've got one of the hottest strikers in Europe right now, sat up front with no service.
Well, arguably, he's the hottest striker in the world, if you believe press reports, Harry Kane. In fact, so much so, we'll just break off for a second because there was an opportunity there for Jokic to get the cross in, but it's gone behind for the corner. Just to say that rumours, I don't know if they're true or false, so don't Kane, and whether it's January window or possibly the summer window afterwards. I'd assume it would be the next summer.
Well, he's very straightforward. His job is to score goals. He doesn't complicate things.
Yes, he was a subject of interest from Manchester United, although Mourinho didn't in the end bid for him, or Tottenham wouldn't let him go. And he is a Tottenham man through and through. But here's Raheem Sterling on the right hand side. England really do need to pick up the pace now. We're going into what Alex Ferguson would say squeaky bum time, and here's one of the United players, Lingard, trying to create something here inside the penalty area. Rashford tries to turn. In fact, he almost did too much. He had three Slovakian defenders around him, and then Sterling takes a poor touch on the right hand side. It runs dead into touch. We played 78 minutes of what's been a disappointing England performance. It's England 0, Slovenia 0. We're going to see a substitution, incidentally, and it's going to be Rotman, who's was one of the players booked, one of the three players booked for Slovenia. He's going to come off, and he's going to be replaced.
Southgate should be making some changes, quite frankly. If I was him right now, there's a lack of creativity coming from Sterling. He's just killing all our attacks. We need to get somebody else on because
Matavs has come on for Slovenia, incidentally, just to finish off that. What was being said about the substitution, but you are right about Sterling. I mean that heavy touch there to kill the last England attack just sums his game up tonight in a nutshell, and it goes back to the old argument. We'll just break off for a second because Ilicic is breaking forward and a chance inside there, and there was two Slovenia defenders coming in for that left-hand side cross, and if one of them had connected, then I think Joe Hart may have had a problem.
If one of them had gambled, just threw themselves at it. We're talking about near misses here, and against better teams, England, well, they'd get them buried by now, quite frankly.
Well, God help us if we do qualify for the World Cup, because there's got to be a lot. I mean, they have got to. I'll tell you what, if we do get by hook or by crook get to Russia, Gareth Southgate needs to look at the warm-up matches and get good opposition in the build-up to these championships. There's no good playing inferior opposition, and even against teams that don't qualify, because that is not going to be match preparation as Rashford tries to, or Lingard rather, tries to take it inside the penalty area, but his first touch was there and it allowed Earl Black to jump on the loose ball and quell the danger for the Slovenians. 10 minutes of what's been a really drab, really horrible game. It's flowed like sticky glue, sticky PVA glue if you like, and really, if I was giving it an entertainment value out of 10, I'd give it a 3 or a 4, and that's being kind. England 0, Slovenia 0, 10 minutes to play, and Southgate, as you alluded to, Chris, really does need to pull his finger out and make another substitution.
Talking about Scotland, Slovakia, the Slovakian goalkeeper looks like an octopus. He is currently saving things left, right and centre right now. Scotland. Oh! Joe Hart tumbling someone over. In terms of the Scotland-Slovakia game, they're peppering the goal, Scotland, but they just can't find a way past the goalkeeper.
And speaking of goalkeepers, Joe Hart is hurt. Now they do have Jordan Pickford, and they do have Fraser Forster in reserve, and Jack Butland. They have 4 goalkeepers. Why they needed 4 goalkeepers in the squad, as you alluded to in LTF last week, I don't understand. But you know, you've got it's 4:30 the Lithuania match, so it's going to be a 5 o'clock kickoff for that one. So if you're around, Chris, we would like to have you on call commentary duty for that one, or maybe we could have you doing the full match commentary.
I don't finish work until 4:30, so I think you'll be on your own for that one, or at least until half time. I might work a pop in second half.
Yes, indeed. But if you're around on Monday, we could have you do commentary on the Wales Republic match. Unless you've got badminton that night.
Yes, we could see about that one as well.
Yes, we want to get Chris doing some commentaries himself and take a little bit of the workload off me. I think that would be a good game for him to start. But tonight he's the summariser, and we are trying to groom him up for so I can get him to share some of the workload with me on the World Cup next year. So because I'm not going to be physically able to do 64 matches, let's be honest, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me to do all 64. I managed to do half of the 50 games we did in the Euros last year, and I thought it was one heck of a blinding effort. Meanwhile, Joe Hart is okay, and sportingly, Ilicic gives it back to the England goalkeeper, who picks the ball up, no trouble there. And it's good to see, even in a game of this importance, that sportsmanship is there till the very last. And if there's any good to come out of this, there has been needle between the two sides, there has been frustration, there has been free-for-alls, there has been punches thrown that the referee hasn't seen. But there is good sportsmanship, although England should have had a free kick there. The referee,
like a foul there.
It did look like suspiciously like a foul, but it's play on here, and Slovenia are through! Slovenia are through, and Joe Hart, let's give him credit, no, he saved twice! He has saved twice, and the referee's given a free kick. Foul on the goalkeeper.
A knee to the back of the head.
Well, Joe Hart, let's give him some credit for once, because for one horrible moment it looked as if, having not had a foul, and he looked suspiciously offside. I think it was offside. Well, I don't know who it was. It was the number 9 anyway.
That one's a quality save. He's made a fantastic double save.
Yes, it was Matas with the first effort, and then it was the number 23 bursting in like a train.
It's more the fact that Cahill's absolutely clattered Joe Hart in the face with his knee. Joe Hart was still conscious to make the second save is remarkable in itself.
And again, the Slovenian, and I'm afraid the Slovenian coach again is at it again, isn't he? Peter Shilton there. Well, it's a piece of goalkeeping that Peter Shilton would have been proud of. It was Struner that came in for the second rebound. Peter Shilton is.
I'm one of Joe Hart's biggest critics, but he just showed his value to England right there.
Well, you've got your wish. You got your wish because Raheem Sterling's come off, and Michael Keane, who had a nightmare at Everton against Burnley the other day, comes on.
3 at the back. We're going 3 at the back, so that probably means Walker and Bertrand are going to go bombing forward.
Well, I thought they made an attacking change there, Southgate. I think, with all due respect to Keane, I think that's a bit of a negative substitution, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, if it gives Walker and Bertrand more licence to go forward, they're certainly create more than Sterling did on this right-hand side. So,
well, they've got 4 minutes.
Maybe this is the change we need.
Well, we've got 5 minutes, 5 seconds plus stoppage time to see if they can make the difference. Because, quite honestly, for 85 minutes, they haven't looked like breaking this Slovakian defence down. And to be fair, if the Slovenians do come here and get a point, full credit to them, because they have really battled well. They knew this was going to be a tough test. Wembley, not a full house at Wembley because the top tiers of the stadium are completely and utterly empty. I think that's shows in the lower attendances how bad the England team have been and how much it hurt during Euro 2016 and then losses to those draws against Russia and Slovenia and that loss to Iceland. Meanwhile, a yellow card has been brandished to Struner, who's now got to face a 3 kick. Struner now becomes the 4th Slovenia player in the referee's notepad. At England now.
4-0 between Scotland and Slovakia.
Still, Scotland can't break the 10 men down. Sometimes
they've done everything. According to Willie Miller from the BBC, they've done everything but score.
Yes, Willie Miller, a former Aberdeen centre half, was part of the European Cup Winners' Cup campaign of '83, playing 2 World Cups. Here come the free kick from England in towards the penalty area, and in the end, no one again connected with the free kick. I think it was Rashford again who took it, and here comes Walker. And Walker plays it infield to Henderson, who's had a really quiet game and by his standards in the second half. 3.5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. And the ball predictably goes back to Joe Hart. Joe Hart, just hoof it up the field, mate. Hoof it up as far as you can. And he does, but it's coming back at England again now. It's coming back at them again now, and a chance here now for them to lead the line with Verbic on the left-hand side, rather. Verbic cuts in field, controls it well. Verbic with the shot, and in the end with the right-footed effort, and he goes over the top. It wasn't troubling the scorers, and thankfully it wasn't going to trouble Joe Hart on Julian. It's a goal kick to England, but it's not been, well, if it was champagne, it would be flat and a half. It would be completely and utterly tasteless. I tell you what, when we do our post-mortem after the final whistle, Chris, I think we've got some serious discussions and some serious questions to ask of Gareth Southgate and his team, because there are questions that need to be asked and they need to answer them in Lithuania on Sunday, and quick, because at the moment they just haven't looked like breaking this Slovakian team down. There's been a breaking play. We've got a pitch invader on, and this is all we need. All we need. 15 minutes of fame he's going to get, no more, but it doesn't help the flow of the game when we got pitch invasions. 2 minutes to go, England 0, Slovenia 0, and it's been feeble, and this pitch invasion just sums it all up, doesn't it?
Well, let's talk about Scotland-Slovakia right now, since there's been a stoppage, although it looks like it's about to continue. Scotland have been playing for 10 men for more than an hour, but they can't find a way past Martin Dubravka. He's having one hell of a game. And Scotland, it's agonising for the Tartan Army right now.
Yes, and if you want to
can't find that goal.
Yes, and if you haven't watched any of the highlights, any of the game between Scotland or that or Slovakia or the Northern Ireland Germany match. You can see highlights on ITV at around about 20 to 11 tonight, apparently.
Goal!
In fact, there's been a goal in the game between Scotland and Slovakia. Scotland now, what a big moment that is, and what a big result that could be in the group for Scotland. 1-0 their lead. We'll get you the goal scorer confirmed in a minute. Back to this game, because Slovenia are on the attack here with Verbic. Verbic plays it out here. Chance here for Burton to get the crossing. They're going for it at the end, and they've got men over here. It could be a real...
They've got to go for it.
They've got to go for it now. They're into the last minute of normal time. I don't know how long we're going to have for stoppages. We'll have a little guessing game to see how long we've got left. I think it's an English goal kick.
With Scotland winning, that puts Slovenia at serious risk of not qualifying. So suddenly they're going to be going from all-out defence to we suddenly need a goal.
Less than 30 seconds of normal time to go. I would wager probably about 2 or 3 minutes at the end, because we haven't had too much in the way of stoppage. It's just a flurry of substitutions, so probably about 3 to maybe 4 minutes at best. 2 minutes at worst case scenario. 10 seconds of normal time to play. Hart with the kick. All the 3/4 of the way down the field, but it's cleared again by the Slovenians. They defended well, but have threatening. Well, 6 minutes. I don't know where he's got 6 minutes. Well, what do you think about that, Chris? 6 minutes.
Well,
I can't think the way he's got that.
Hart.
Yes, there was the Joe Hart incident, and there was 1 or 2 other bits, but I can't recall 6 minutes of stoppage time. I'm just trying to rack my brains. There was the John Stones punch as well, and 1 or 2 others, but it might give England this spur they need. Harry Kane goes for goal, deflected, and the goal back, having to scamper back, but I think the shot was going wide anyway, and it was very tame. So I don't think it was going to have the legs regardless of which. So 6 added minutes. Well, there was me saying 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 maybe at best, but 6 minutes, I never expected that. But it's easy to forget about these injuries and the punch-ups way down as Henderson plays the ball in, but again, for the umpteenth time, the Slovakian defence holding firm. And we've played virtually a minute of the 6. We have played a minute of the 6. Here's Rashford. Breaks a 1-2. Put it in towards the back post. And Jesse Lingard trying to swipe it in from about 7 yards out to the left of the goal. Couldn't succeed in doing so. But
The goal scorer for Scotland was a Martin Skirtle own goal.
An own goal from former Liverpool man Martin Skirtle has just probably raised hopes of the Tartan Army, possibly, only possibly, taking a huge step towards their first major tournament in nearly 20 years. As for England, it's been lethargic, it's been feeble, it's been absolutely horrific. And it's Euro 20. It's going back to the Euros for me. This, and they can see, and they wonder why Wembley isn't full for these internationals.
As things will stand, Slovenia and Scotland will be level on points, both on 15. Slovakia will be on 16 points in second, and England will be top on 21.
But to be fair, when you look at the game back, this England game, great result for Scotland, because that's a big moment in the group, and it really puts Slovenia and Slovakia under a huge amount of pressure now, because Scotland are the team in the ascendancy, and they looked out of it about 3 or 4 months ago. And it's that result against England, that 2-2 draw. They should have won that game, arguably, up in Glasgow at Hampden Park. They should have won that match. But at the moment,
Scotland are facing 4 minutes of added time themselves.
But they're up against 10 men. England are playing against 11 and still can't find a way through this Slovenian defence. And here's Kyle Walker. He's going to hit it right-footed. He hits it straight down All Black's throat. He smashed it right-footed from just to the right of the D from about 25 yards. And then All Black suddenly gives it away to Walker. And Walker's away now for England. He needs a good cross. Walker in towards the penalty area. And he's crossed the line. And Harry Kane has done it in the very last seconds. 4 minutes of stoppage time almost gone. And Harry Kane has rescued England from a real national embarrassment. Kyle Walker Run down the right-hand side after Oblak had stupidly given the ball away from the throw-out. A wonderful pinpoint cross, and in came Harry Kane, the goal scorer extraordinaire, to finish the move off. And England have saved themselves from a massive, massive national embarrassment. England 1, Slovakia 0.
Gareth Southgate, I've got to say, the change to put 3 at the back, giving the freedom for Walker to go forward, has paid off. He knows those two are teammates, well, former teammates. Forget that he moved to Man City, of course, but he knows what Harry Kane will do if you give him the supply. And, well, as good as Oblak is, there's just no time to react at that range. And it's a quality finish from Harry Kane. He did enough, hit the target. And, well, it has saved England's blushes here. Hampton Park is bouncing, Wembley is bouncing right now. This changes quite a lot for the group tables.
And the
Obviously,
joy...
Slovenia... Go on, I'll let you carry on.
And the joy in Harry Kane's face says it all, and I've just seen a couple of England supporters lifting a replica of the World Cup, but, well, let's be fair, Oblak made the initial mistake with the throw-out. It wasn't the attempt to keep it out that was the mistake. It was the earlier mistake when he threw the ball out to Kyle Walker after he fielded a 25-yard daisy cutter from him. So that was the real mistake, and it allowed Walker to bomb down totally untracked. And, well, as you say, they're former teammates, and it proved there. We've got a minute of stoppage time to go, and really now, Chris, it's all hands on deck as that ball comes in. Oh, they might get a chance here, Slovenia. Inside the area, but a good block there. I think it was John Stones in the way of that one. Here's Verbic at the other end. Verbic cuts in from the left-hand side. But once again, England tracking back and not making it easy for them. 30 seconds of normal time to go. Well, there's still going to be criticism. There's an England player gone down, Chris. I think there's going to be a yellow card here for Berza. I think he's probably hacked at the England player. I can't see who the England player is, by the way. I think it might be Jordan Henderson, actually. And in fact, Berza now will miss the next game, which is a big blow for Slovenia.
Against Scotland as well. This is big. Right, so the tables haven't updated yet on my screen, but as I'll work it out, obviously now Slovenia will no longer get a point. They will now be below Scotland in 4th. Scotland will be in 3rd, playing Slovenia next. And then obviously England, I think have they still got to play Slovakia? I can't remember, but either way, it is still firmly in Scotland's hands right now, the way the results are going.
Yes, and we've still got a breaking play. We have played the minimum of 6 minutes, incidentally. You've not missed anything whilst Chris...
time at Hampden Park.
Yes, the whistle's gone at Hampden Park, so that Martin Skirder own goal has enough for the 3 points here. Meanwhile, here at Wembley, there's still a breaking play. We've played just over 37 seconds over the allotted 6. And I think the referee may well want to add on a little bit more stoppage time here. We are deep in time added on. It's 20 to 10 at night. We'll be with you for another 20 minutes because we're going to obviously do our little post-mortem of this match tonight. And of course we want to get the reaction from probably Harry Kane and Gareth Southgate afterwards, but we've now had 7 minutes of what was an allotted 6. Free kick taken by Joe Hart, headed away. England have not been at their best tonight. Let's make no mistake about it. Slovenia get a throw, but it might just be good enough to get them over the line and get the 3 points. England have a throw midway inside the Slovenian half, and they will take absolutely next to no time, and they'll take as much time as they want, in fact, to just see the game out now. And that's all they've got to do, but there are certain aspects of the England performance that will be under great scrutiny. Again, it's not been a vintage performance, but Harry Kane has saved the country again from a national embarrassment, unless Slovenia have, well, they've got to get on with it now. We've played 1 minute and 50 over the 6 minutes. We're now into the 8th minute of stoppage time. We've had 7. We're now coming up towards 8 minutes gone of stoppage time. And the referee poised to blow the whistle, and he has done. And England, just about by the skin of their teeth, have got the 3 points which could virtually seal their place in Russia next year for the World Cup finals. And it was that man again, Harry Kane, with a late goal, and it was a late show. Up until then, really, apart from one or two moments of genius from Marcus Rashford, England just didn't look like breaking the Slovenian defence down, and that is a real cause for concern here. And they've had to, well, made hard work of this group, England. They may be top of it, but they've made hard work of it. There's no mistake about that, but I think it's more relief than proper celebration, because let's be fair, Slovenia gave as good as they got, but in the end, that quality and one mistake from Oblak when he threw the ball out to Kyle Walker. Walker ran down the right, crossed it in beautifully low, and in came Harry Kane to tap in from just inside the 6-yard box, hit the target, and England win the 3 points. So let's begin the post-mortem.
That was pretty much the first time in the match where Harry Kane got decent service and he scored.
Indeed. Let's begin the post-mortem then. What do you think, if you were Gareth Southgate now, Chris, Chris Whiteman's alongside me in the commentary box, by the way, if you were in Gareth Southgate right now, Chris, one, what would your assessment of the performance be tonight? And two, would you accept that sort of performance from an England side? And three, is it more relief than celebration at the moment in the England camp right now?
Well, let's put it in perspective. This is the team that we couldn't beat in the Euros. We drew 0-0 with them. So we are there or thereabouts with Slovenia in terms of overall, you know, in terms of our international teams playing against each other, generally speaking. At the moment, we are there or thereabouts with them. The difference being this time round is that we got decent supply. Eventually, that one bit of decent play to Harry Kane was enough. But I think if I was Gareth Southgate, I'd still be disappointed with the performance. We weren't. There was a distinct lack of creativity. There was nobody being decisive, particularly the players. I mentioned Sterling being indecisive as to what they wanted to do, dallying on the ball. We were sloppy at times with our passing. And ultimately, as I said, we didn't get any supply to Harry Kane for 93 minutes. You know, we've got, as we've said, we've got one of the hottest strikers in the world right now in Harry Kane, and he just didn't get any service at all. And a striker can't score if he doesn't have the service. So he's got a lot to think about.
Yes.
Credit to Southgate where it's due. The change to 5 at the back, well, I say 5 at the back. The change to go 3 centre backs and use wing backs certainly changed England for the last 10 minutes. And obviously Kyle Walker, yes, Oblak threw the ball to him, but he wouldn't have been that far forward had he been on more defensive duties. So credit to Southgate in that regard, but I think there's still a lot that needs to be done with this England team. It certainly needs to learn how to be more creative, more like Rashford, get the ball in the box sort of mentality, get the supply in. It's just got to be on that quality and doing it more. Like I said, get the ball to Kane and England will do well, but they just didn't get him the ball enough this game. If they'd have got it to him more, he would have scored more goals, quite obviously.
Indeed, but it's been a great night for the home nations. Well, for two of them anyway. Let's just check on what's been happening around Europe tonight. Well, where we get give Chris a chance to have a little breather, so to speak, because he's been. So let's see what's been happening in Northern Ireland's group. It's finished. Northern Ireland 1, Germany 3. I'll tell you the goal scorers, shall I? Northern Ireland with Germany with 2 goals in the opening 21 minutes. Rudy in the 2nd minute. Wagner after 21. Kimmich scoring 4 minutes from the end. McGuinness scoring 3 minutes into stoppage time. But it's not a result that kills Northern Ireland off anyway. They should be okay to be in the playoffs anyway. As you've seen, England won, or as you've heard, England won, Slovenia 0. Scotland won, Slovakia 0. That was a big game. Mack was sent off for Slovakia after 23 minutes in that game. But they had to wait until the 89th minute. A bit of luck maybe, but Martin Skirtle's own goal has won Scotland a huge result there in that game. So Scotland have won in Slovakia. All the Northern Ireland and Scotland games you can see on ITV if you want to watch them, highlights of them later, and that's on and around just under an hour's time. Elsewhere, Azerbaijan 1, the Czech Republic 2. Scotland and Pact are second at the moment, so as things stand. But just going back to the other results, Azerbaijan 1, Czech Republic 2, Armenia 1, Poland 6, San Marino 0, Norway 8, Montenegro 0, Denmark 1, Romania 3, Kazakhstan 1, and Malta 1, Lithuania 1. That was in England's group, but again, that need not matter. So there we are. England are there, and here's Harry Kane.
Last 10 minutes they was getting tired and we created a few opportunities, and then we was happy to finally put one in the back of the net at the end.
You made a big save in Slovenia. What about that double save at the end?
Yeah, that one hurt again.
The guy's brilliant today. We've worn him down. Difficult for the crowd. Again, appreciate him coming, but it's difficult. Games are difficult, and to have Harry doing that in the last minute, Kyle to whip it in for him is a big feeling. So we're really happy. But for you, it's not been the easiest maybe campaign. So for you to make that save and prove a point or two to one of the critics as they go.
You think I care about them? No, I'd have a big problem if I cared what people said, apart from the guys in the dressing room. So, the team always got my back, I've always got their back, and we're qualifying for a World Cup, one game to go. So, regardless of personal achievements, I think it's really important that we smile tonight. England are qualified for a World Cup, and that's a big deal.
Harry, what does it mean to get there, and what realistically can this team achieve?
It feels amazing to get there, like Joe said, it's no easy feat nowadays. You see some other top countries around the world struggling to qualify, so to qualify with one game, we're all delighted. That's job done for us. And then, we dust ourselves off. We got another game on Sunday. We're not really thinking too far ahead. We just need to stay patient, stay calm, keep doing what we're doing, keep working hard, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Joe is the man of the match. If you can do the honours off to Russia, well done.
Yes, England, I should just say now, England have been confirmed, as Harry and Joe Hart have just said there in their interview, that they are at the World Cup next year. So England have qualified for the World Cup, but only by the skin of their teeth tonight. Right, Harry Kane and Joe Hart there talking there. Chris, what did you make of the interviews afterwards and how their assessment on the England performance? And maybe Joe Hart was aiming that little answer back at you, because you have been one of his biggest critics. You and I, maybe, because we both criticised him in the past. He did make a superb double save, and that was the turning point in the match, arguably, wasn't it?
I think it was. Like I said, I've been one of his critics, and nice for him to fire a few shots back. Not necessarily at me per se, but as critics as a whole. It's good that he's not finding the critics bother him, although I'm sure some West Ham fans will probably say, well, play a little bit better for us, perhaps. But yeah, it's been... Kane obviously happy with getting the goal, as you would be. But it's good that they're managing to block out all the outside noise, and they were right in their assessment. They did eventually wear Slovenia down. It just took a little bit too long. But yes, eventually we shone through and just about got the result, and ultimately a win to win.
Yes, and qualification now in the bag with one game to spare. That's they play Lithuania on Sunday. Again, incidentally, you can still hear with us on the YouTube channel, even though it's probably a dead rubber. But we might switch our attention to Scotland, maybe, considering now England's are done and dusted their way, their group winners. So we might switch our attention to the Scotland match against Slovenia on Sunday instead. But getting back to England's performance, what do you think they need to do now in the build-up? Forget about the qualifier that's got to come on Sunday, but in the next 7 months leading up to the World Cup, they need to get some consistency and they need to get some continuity going to get a squad that is capable of not winning the World Cup, because I don't think we're anywhere near winning it, but to go far in the tournament, maybe get to a quarter-finals, maybe get to a semi-finals, and try and get out the first phase of a group. What do you think England as a team and as a squad need to do?
Well, what I will say about the qualifier that's coming up that we still have to play, which is dead rubber, I'd like to see, as much as Joe Hart was good today, I'd like to see Jack Butland play. I'd like to see him put out a side which he still thinks is competitive, but perhaps, given a chance. And, Michael Keane arguably could have started today. his form says otherwise, but perhaps he deserves it against the next game just to see how he deals in another competitive fixture. I'd like to see him tinker with the team for the final qualifier, because it's not like it's going to be a difficult one against Lithuania. No disrespect to them, but it's a dead rubber match. So I mean, he should experiment. In terms of the World Cup coming up,
this was the original question. Yeah.
I mean, based on what's happened in the previous two tournaments, the previous World Cup we didn't get out of the group. For the Euros we got knocked out in the first knockout round. I think for England to consider it a success, I would say, it sounds bad, but getting out of the group needs to be the target. Anything from then on is a bonus.
I mean, knockout football, anything's possible, but we need to have an England. We need to have a happy England team, don't we? I mean, we haven't had that for many years, since probably when Sven was in charge. Really, that we haven't
with that
really
golden generation that was expected to do really well and be world beaters, and we expected them to win the World Cup every year. This is the thing that we need to not do with this next generation coming through, especially with the fact that the under-20s and under-19s have won their various tournaments. We need to realise that England, we're nowhere near the best nation in the world at football. Not even close. Our ranking in the world has always been overly inflated. I've never really felt that we can stand up next to Germany, Brazil, Spain. We're nowhere near them. I mean, we got knocked out by Iceland in our last major tournament. That sort of shows where we are. What Southgate needs to do, he needs to bring confidence back to the side, remove this sense of we need to do really well all the time. I mean, we're expected to get to the semi-finals also. He needs to get rid of all that outside white noise, because every tournament we will eventually hype ourselves up. The pundits will be like, I think this, you'll get some crazy pundit, probably Ian Wright, saying, yeah, we could probably get to the semis. Yeah, absolutely. No, Ian. Or whoever says it. I don't need to single out Ian Wright, I love him and everything, but, it sounds like the sort of, he came out and said Sean Dyche for Arsenal, for goodness sake, so it's not, wouldn't be outrageous for him to say it.
I've just got to say one thing on the Sean Dyche for Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal would be his sort of team, because I'll tell you what, half the Arsenal team would be completely on the transfer list with Sean Dyche in charge, because half of them would not do as Sean Dyche would tell them. They would have a coach's job. I can't see Alexis Sanchez or Mesut Ozil lasting very long with Sean Dyche in charge of Arsenal. So I think that would be probably the wrong move for Dyche.
Arsenal fan TV, the fan and blood count would be through the roof. But going back to England's World Cup hopes, this team, I mean, it's not very good. We've been in an easy group. Our closest competitor is Scotland, really. I mean, they're in second now. They gave us a good run in Scotland themselves. They were arguably the toughest opponent we faced in the group, which says a lot, because Scotland are worse than England. People would like to say this, but I think with the home nations, the gap has closed up, quite frankly. I think if we did have a home nations tournament, I don't think England would be favourites. I would love to see that kind of tournament come back, to see who could be the best out of the Republic, Northern, Scotland, Wales and England. That'd be a fun tournament. But yeah, England, when getting out of the group stage, I mean, it would immediately beat what we did at the previous World Cup under Roy, who couldn't get us out of the group stage with Costa Rica, Uruguay and
Italy.
Yeah, that was a tough group, to be fair, but getting out of the group would then beat our previous World Cup.
Yeah. Anyway,
and I think that should be the aim.
Yeah, I'm going to break off for a second, Chris, because I think we're going to just hang on for a few seconds, because I think Gareth Southgate may be coming out to talk to the press in a minute or two. Just to recap, that there will be a double header of international World Cup qualifying football. Whether or not we'll be covering England or Scotland remains to be seen, but what we will be covering on Monday night is Wales versus the Republic, and what a game that's going to really be in that particular game. So there's plenty to look forward to there, and we're just waiting to hear from Gareth Southgate. In fact, I think we can hear from Gareth Southgate now, the England manager. He's talking, I believe. I'm just waiting for I think he's about to come out. Is he now? Let's just see. Yep, it's Gareth Southgate with Gabriel Clark.
But a bit of stumbling over the line tonight. Yeah, I think we've played a team we've only conceded 4 goals in the competition, and you saw why. They defended resolutely, they broke the game up when they had to, they took yellow cards when they had to, and we weren't quite as sharp as we would have hoped to be with the ball, but we stuck at it, and it's not coincidence if you keep scoring late goals.
You stuck at it through the paper planes flying onto the pitch. I think the fans making their own entertainment at times, but I suppose it's a sign of the perseverance. A lot of late goals in this group have been key.
Yeah, they have, and we knew that they had to win, so they're going to come onto you. We changed the formation at the end to give us 2 up front to try and exploit that. This is a young team, they're still learning all the time, and nights like tonight aren't straightforward.
You've stuck by Joe Hart in both games against Slovenia. Has he repaid that loyalty?
Yeah, big saves at important times, and that's where his experience has come through. So we know we've got to get better, but that's for tomorrow. Tonight, we as a country we go to the World Cup, which is fantastic.
What realistically, you've been to World Cups with perhaps maybe more talented squads. What realistically can this team achieve?
I think this team has potential, but we've got a hell of a lot of work to do. We come on the back of what happened in the last European Championships. They've had a change of coach. They've had a lot of difficulties to deal with through the campaign. But we're there, and now we build and we look to where we can improve all the time.
There we are. So the England friendlies on the 10th of November, they play Germany, and then they play Brazil 4 days later. So some big games coming up, and hopefully you'll be able to hear those on the JB Clark YouTube channel, work permitting, of course. But Chris, your assessment on Gareth Southgate's assessment of things before we leave. We've got about 5 minutes of the programme left. What do you think? What do you think of what Gareth Southgate just said there in that interview?
I think he was very smart to not say what he thinks the team can achieve. Obviously, if he'd have said anything, then the press would have been going into hyperbole. I think his assessment was fair, to be honest. I'm glad that he saw a lot of the same things that a lot of us England fans were seeing. Sometimes it can be different from the manager's spot, but yeah, he was very fair. He was quite right in saying that we weren't as sharp as we could have been. But like he said, we did persevere and eventually got the late goal. And yeah, he is right in the team's young. He's still got a lot to learn. I mean, there isn't many experienced heads in that team, I suppose. The most experienced is Joe Hart and Gary Cahill, I would imagine. So, yeah, hopefully the future's bright. But those friendlies against Germany and Brazil, they'll be the real tellers as to where we actually are. Chances are we'll probably get beat by them. But it will give us a good gauge, because those are the type of quality teams that we're going to face at the World Cup.
Indeed, I agree with you. And just finally, Chris, we've got to get you to choose a man in the match. We didn't have a chance to do it during the match because there was so much action happening right at the end of the game. Who is your man in the match on the YouTube channel tonight? And you can pick either England or Slovenia players. It's entirely up to you. Who would you be your man in the match?
Oh, tell you what, it's between 3 people for me. I mean, the sponsors gave it to Joe Hart, which I can understand. That double save, but that was one moment. So he can have that moment in the sun. But he was an outsider for it. But for me, it is between Marcus Rashford and Cesar of Slovenia. Rashford was just a pest all game for Slovenia to deal with. He was getting the ball in the box when he had the opportunities. He was dribbling past people. He was using his pace. He started using it in the second half, which is why we were more creative. Whereas Cesar, I mean, the block which he made to stop Raheem Sterling from scoring gives him the edge. So I'm actually going to give the man of the match to the Slovenian captain, Cesar, on the losing side, because he was an absolute titan of a player in this match. Led from the back, threw his body on the line, had his team well organised, and made an absolutely outstanding goal-saving block, which stood out to me. And yeah, I'm giving it to Cesar. He was fantastic.
Well,
definitely worthy of 99 caps, and I'm sure he'll get his 100th when it comes to playing Scotland.
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much indeed for your contributions tonight. You've been fantastic as well, Chris. Thank you very much for having it. For being on tonight, and we've enjoyed having you on, and it's nice to know that your voice has now been heard on my YouTube channel as opposed to the other two. So yes, another feather in the cap here on the JB Clark YouTube channel. History is made tonight. Chris Whiteman's voice for the first time, other than mine, has been heard on the YouTube channel. So a real feather in my YouTube channel's cap, and it's great to see that happening, and we will get you involved in other games. Hopefully we're going to have you doing the commentary, the full commentary for the Wales game with me presenting. But just to bring you one or two bits of news tonight, Northern Ireland were soundly beaten by the Germans, but the Germans are virtually through now to the finals anyway, so they'll get to defend the trophy as they should have done, really. I still think the winners should qualify automatically. So
they had to qualify to do that.
No, they shouldn't have had to do it, but they have now. They beat Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland are still in a very good position to get into a playoff spot. England, as you've heard, won 1-0. Scotland have given themselves a huge opportunity of getting into the playoffs and the possibility of a first tournament since 1998 with a one late goal against Slovakia, an own goal by Martin Skrtel. The Czech Republic won in Azerbaijan. Poland hit Armenia for 6. San Marino were hit for 8 by the Norwegians. Denmark squeezed past Montenegro. Kazakhstan was soundly beaten by the once mighty Romanians, and Malta and Lithuania, and a meaningless dead rubber really in that England group, drawing 1-1. So that's it from me.
Can I just say about the Scots, just quickly?
Yes, quickly.
They deserve a good mention. They have managed, I mean, credit to them for sticking with Gordon Strachan, but they have now managed to grasp and pull back their own fates in this qualifying campaign, because there's one match left. You know, they are 2 points clear of Slovakia and 3 of Slovenia, so they only really need a point. If they get a point, that might be enough to qualify, but if they win, legend status for those Scottish players will be tantalisingly close should they get through the playoff stages. So well done to Scotland as well. It really made the home nation happy tonight.
Yes, we have. Sadly, Northern Ireland couldn't make it a hat-trick, but they were up against a very unbeatable German side, but they're still in a very good position. England are there. Scotland could still get in the playoffs along with Northern Ireland. Wouldn't that be brilliant if they drew each other? But it's wishful thinking at the moment. There's still one round of group games to go. Then we'll find out who's qualified and who's in the playoffs and who's out. We'll all find all that out in the next few days. But for myself, JB, John Studsard, and Chris Whiteman, Mike Claret 94, it's been an absolute privilege to bring you the game. Sorry about the technical glitches earlier, but you got to hear the late drama of the second half. England weren't at their vintage best. They were far from it. But boy, did they just about sneak over. And Harry Kane, the goal scorer extraordinaire, rescues England again. From us both, it's good night.